Imagine for a moment that everything you believe yourself to be is just a thin layer painted over something much deeper. Your name, your memories, your personality, the story you tell others about who you are. What if all of that is just a costume worn by something far more vast? What if you are already living in a higher dimension of consciousness, but your attention has been captured by the noise of the mind? The truth is simple, yet startling. You are not only the character in your life story. You are the awareness experiencing that story. You are the silent presence behind every thought, every emotion, every moment. You have never been separate from that higher dimension. You just forgot to look. Life feels heavy when we believe we are only the ego, that tiny sense of me built from memories, projections, and fears. The ego is like a room with no windows, convincing you that the walls are the entire universe. But there is a sky outside that room, endless, luminous, and silent. And the moment you step into presence, you begin to remember. Picture the mind as a radio constantly broadcasting worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, opinions, judgments, labels. The ego loves labels because they give it boundaries. It says, I am this, I am not that. But consciousness has no boundaries. Consciousness simply is. Like the open sky that holds clouds without clinging to them, your true nature holds thoughts without being trapped by them. You are not the cloud passing by. You are the sky. Yet most people spend their whole lives chasing clouds, arguing with clouds, fearing clouds. They never realize the freedom of turning inward and noticing the open space behind it all. That space is the higher dimension, and it is already here, underneath every thought and every heartbeat. Suffering is created when we identify with thought instead of awareness, when we believe every story the mind tells. The mind lives in time, past and future. It fears what might happen. It clings to what already happened. But the higher dimension exists only in the present. Presence is the portal. Silence is the doorway. Stillness is the key. Think about moments when you felt completely alive. Watching a sunset, listening to ocean waves, holding someone you love, standing in nature in complete awe. In those moments, the mind paused. Time disappeared. You weren't thinking about who you were. You were simply being. And in that being, you touch the higher dimension. This is not escaping life. It is entering life fully. The ego lives in memories and fantasies. Awareness lives in reality. Ask yourself, who am I when I stop thinking? Who am I when I release the story? If awareness remains, then awareness is what you truly are. As you continue listening, allow yourself to soften inside. Let the mind relax, like a snow globe slowly settling. Just breathe. Feel your body from within. Notice the sensation of presence, that quiet aliveness. That is the dimension beyond mind. It has always been here. If this message resonates with you, give this video a like and subscribe so this space grows in consciousness and support. Your presence contributes. Your awakening ripples outward. You are not here by accident. Something in you is remembering. And now, we begin the journey into that remembrance. To understand the higher dimension already living through you, we need to look closely at how the ego quietly builds its kingdom. It begins innocently, a name, a role, a preference, a habit. Over time, the mind weaves a story and crowns it with identity. This is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I fear. These are my successes. These are my wounds. It feels solid, familiar, personal. But identity is only memory, a collection of echoes from the past, and memory is not presence. When you wake up in the morning and your mind immediately begins listing problems, replaying conversations, planning battles that haven't arrived, you are witnessing the ego doing what it knows best, maintaining its survival through thinking. The ego needs constant activity because silence threatens its existence. Stillness exposes its illusion. Have you noticed how uncomfortable most people feel in silence? They reach for their phone, turn on music, scroll endlessly. It's not boredom. It's escape from themselves. The ego fears what might emerge when thought collapses. a truth too vast to fit into identity. In everyday life, the ego appears in subtle ways. You get frustrated in traffic because the world isn't matching your mental picture. You feel anxious when someone doesn't text back, interpreting silence as rejection. You compare yourself online and suddenly your life feels inadequate. These are not signs of failure. They are symptoms of forgetting presence, forgetting your true dimension. Instead of judging yourself for these moments, observe them. Imagine the ego like a character in a movie, loud, dramatic, always seeking control. And you are the audience watching from stillness. You don't need to fight the ego. Fighting strengthens it. Awareness dissolves it, like turning on a light in a dark room. Try this. Next time worry appears, pause. Feel your breath. Notice the space between thoughts. Ask quietly, who is the one observing this worry? In that moment, the identity loosens. Awareness steps forward. The higher dimension is felt, not understood mentally. Think of your mind like a wild river. Most people are swept away by the current. Presence is stepping onto the riverbank and watching the water flow. The river doesn't stop, but you are no longer drowning in it. And slowly, life changes. Relationships soften. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond from awareness. A difficult comment doesn't trigger you the same way because your worth is no longer tied to ego defense. Work becomes less about proving yourself and more about expressing your gifts. Stress loses its tight grip because you stop time traveling into the future. Modern culture celebrates busyness. It rewards overthinking, overworking, over-identifying with roles. But busy is not awake. Loud is not wise. Movement is not growth. True transformation begins when you can sit with yourself and meet the silence without fear. When presence becomes more familiar than thought, something remarkable happens. You start to remember the truth. You are not becoming consciousness. You are returning to what you always were. Close your eyes just for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the breath entering and leaving. That aliveness is sacred. Beneath every layer of identity, it has been waiting for your attention. Ask yourself, what if I don't need to chase meaning? What if meaning rises naturally when I stop running? You begin to notice synchronicities. Moments where life aligns without force. People arrive at the right time. Insights emerge without effort. You feel guided instead of lost. This is not magic or coincidence. It is what happens when the mind stops interfering and consciousness flows freely. Presence is not passive. It is powerful. It reorganizes your inner world. It dissolves fear not by argument, but by illumination. You shift from trying to control life to participating in it, like a dancer moving with the rhythm instead of resisting the music. Every breath becomes an invitation to return. Every moment becomes a doorway. This is the path you are walking now. Not escaping the world, but entering it fully. Not abandoning thought, but putting it in its rightful place. A tool, not a master. Take a deep breath. Feel the simplicity of being. Nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing missing. You are here. You are aware. And awareness is freedom. If this message is awakening something inside you, subscribe and leave a comment sharing your experience. Your reflection may guide someone else on this journey we are remembering together. The shift into higher consciousness isn't a sudden explosion of enlightenment. It's a gentle, continuous remembering, a steady awakening from the dream of separation and thought. And as this remembrance deepens, life becomes less about chasing perfection and more about recognizing the perfection already here. Quietly breathing beneath each moment, you begin to see that every challenge, every discomfort, every moment of confusion was not punishment, but invitation. Life has been whispering, calling you inward, asking you to release the weight of identity and step into the simplicity of being. The higher dimension isn't above you or ahead of you. It's within you, always now. To integrate this awareness into daily living, let's move into practical embodiment. Spiritual awakening is not about escaping the world. It is about entering it with clarity, humility, and presence. Here are simple practices to weave consciousness into your everyday existence, not as rituals to perfect, but as gentle reminders of the truth already here. First, begin with the breath. Not deep breathing as a technique, but natural breathing as recognition. Feel the inhale without controlling it. Observe the exhale as it leaves. Notice how life breathes you without your effort. This is surrender. This is trust. Even 10 seconds of conscious breathing can dissolve anxiety, interrupt mental noise, and return you to the present dimension. Second, practice witnessing thoughts instead of wrestling with them. When a stressful idea appears, don't analyze it, don't push it away, don't make it personal. Simply notice it arise, watch it linger, and see it fade. Like clouds drifting across the sky of awareness. When you stop feeding thoughts, they lose their authority. The mind becomes quiet, not by force, but by understanding. Third, feel the body from within. Bring awareness to your hands without moving them, to the heart area without touching it. Sense the aliveness, the subtle vibration of presence. This internal feeling anchors you in the dimension beyond thinking. The body becomes a portal to consciousness, not a cage for identity. Fourth, treat silence as nourishment, not emptiness. Spend a few moments each day without sound, without distraction. Let silence speak. It is in silence that the deepest intelligence emerges, not from books or theories, but from the awareness that precedes thought. Silence is not empty, it is full of life. Fifth, see others as reflections, not opponents. When someone triggers you, realize they are showing you where ego still clings. Instead of reacting, pause. Recognize the pain behind their behavior or the insecurity behind yours. Compassion is not weakness. It is what arises when awareness sees beyond personality. And every act of compassion is a doorway to the dimension of unity. Finally, stay curious. Ask yourself throughout the day, am I aware right now or lost in thought? This question doesn't judge. It gently brings you back. Awareness becomes your home base, not the rare visitor. This journey is not linear. Some days you feel expansive, peaceful, connected. Other days the mind returns with force, trying to reclaim control. This is natural. Awakening is not a straight line, but a spiral. You are not failing when old patterns resurface. You are being shown where light is still needed, and slowly, things change, not through effort, but through presence. You might find yourself less reactive, more compassionate, less rushed, more grounded. You may sense beauty in ordinary moments, sunlight on a wall, the rhythm of footsteps, the sound of wind. The world hasn't changed. Your perception has. You are living from awareness instead of ego, from presence instead of time. And maybe gradually you realize something breathtaking. Nothing external ever truly fulfilled you because your deepest fulfillment was never meant to come from outside. The peace you searched for in future achievements, in relationships, in status, in validation. It was always inside you, waiting for your attention. You were never separated from the higher dimension. You were simply looking in the wrong direction. Now imagine a world where more people awaken to this truth, where presence replaces judgment, where listening replaces reacting, where silence becomes sacred instead of awkward. This is not a utopia. It is the natural evolution of consciousness, and you are part of that evolution. Right here, right now. Take a slow breath. Allow yourself to feel the stillness beneath the movement, the awareness behind the thoughts. Feel how life flows effortlessly when you stop resisting it. You are not the noise. You are not the story. You are the presence experiencing it all. This is your true nature. And as this video comes to a close, carry this awareness gently into whatever you do next. Not as something to maintain perfectly, but as a quiet remembering that can be returned to any time. Awareness is always here. Presence is always accessible. The higher dimension is not later. It is now. It is you. It has always been you. If this message touched something within you, support the channel by subscribing, leaving a comment, and sharing this video with someone who might also be ready to remember. Your presence here matters. You are part of a collective awakening, a quiet revolution of consciousness rising through humanity. And your journey is just beginning. You are already living in a higher dimension. Now you are learning to see it.